Steph Kluge, would you please call the roll?
Chair Sangri.
Here.
Vice Chair O'Connor.
Here.
Commissioner Deuce.
Here.
Commissioner Bates.
Here.
Commissioner Leek.
Present.
Commissioner Amino.
Here.
Commissioner Lindstrom.
Present.
We have a full quorum.
All right, we have an agenda that was distributed, and there are a couple of issues that we're going to be dealing with this evening that will require some additional conversation. But let's begin with any corrections to the agenda. Any suggestions for a change? Hearing none, how about the minutes of the meeting of December 16? Has everyone reviewed those, and does anyone have comments about the minutes? Hearing none, I will move acceptance of the minutes of December 16, 2024.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, if any? Okay, we have, as I said, a couple of issues that are a little bit different than normal in our validation of a tentative decision. We have received notes from staff about one of our tentative findings, and we have received comments from one of the commissioners relating to the other. But before we start that, I'd like to ask that Attorney Evans review the responsibilities we have as commissioners for impartiality and bias. Might you do that?
Yes, be happy to. And of course, we do. This is sort of implicit with every adoption, every meeting in which a matter will be considered, including adoption of findings. But for the formality here, is there any commissioner that needs to declare an ex parte contact, a bias, or a financial conflict of interest that has occurred since the prior meeting? And I make that this would apply to both AP 2404 and 5, since they concern the same property applicant and many of the same parties. Is there any commissioner needs to declare ex parte contact, bias, or financial conflict of interest? Seeing none.
One shaking their head negatively. So we are free to continue with our discussion of these two issues. Well, the first change that I alluded to is that we received from staff a comment about additional information, and I'd like to ask Planner Sims to present that to us.
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, I'm Courtney Sims, Associate Planner. For your consideration, there was a comment that was submitted before the comment period ended for tree removal related to building permit AP 2404, the 22 trees for the site improvement. It was never added to the original PDF for the application record. The commenter brought it to staff's attention this morning, so it can be added to the record now as Exhibit G520. Issues raised in the comment that are related to the applicable criteria have already been addressed previously in the staff report and findings. These issues mainly related to criterion 2 for general stormwater concerns, criterion 3, A, B, and E regarding impacts to the neighborhood, and criterion 6 in whether there was enough room for mitigation. As stated in the staff report, these criteria were met, and there is no new evidence that was raised that would change staff's recommendation for the findings. As you'll recall, criterion 2 was met as stormwater management standards are addressed for the entire site through the stormwater management plan. Criterion 3 was met through an exception of no reasonable alternatives to removal, and the applicant is proposing mitigation trees that meet the mitigation criteria. There was no request to pay into the tree fund in lieu of planting as required, planting the required trees for this application. Staff recommends that the DRC add Exhibit G520 to the record, and as no new evidence was raised, does not change our recommendation to approve tree removal for 499-24-00100-3.
All right, well, I think that we need to formally reopen the hearing to consider this additional exhibit G520. Attorney Boone, is there anything that we need to consider here that is special? This is a G520 is in opposition. Staff has reported that they do not feel that there is any material change to either their report or the information we've considered. What else should we be considering here?
As far as the evidence before you, or you'll consider the allegations and evidence in G520 before you reopen the public hearing. In order to do that, before closing the public hearing, normally the applicant would have an opportunity to rebut any evidence that is in opposition. And staff has contacted the applicant, and the applicant has advised they do not wish to provide any additional rebuttal because the applicant finds these issues have been addressed before. So with that, the commission may redeliberate then on that decision and may proceed, if needed by the commission, to consider 520. If the commission finds that G520 does not contain any new arguments or evidence, it must be responded to, and the majority of the commission finds that the evidence that the criteria and standards are met, as it did in making the prior tentative approval, the commission could consider and, if acceptable, adopt the written findings prepared by staff to approve the application. If the commission finds, however, that the exhibit G520 does contain new arguments or evidence that must be responded to, the commission would consider the new evidence and arguments again, move to tentatively approve or deny the application as the commission would determine, and direct staff to prepare findings for its next meeting in light of any redeliberation.
Anyone want to offer comments or request more information on this? I see no one doing that. In that case, I'd call for a motion to adopt the findings as they were presented, or to revise those findings. And if someone would make one of those two motions, I would appreciate it.
I make a motion that we adopt the findings.
Adopt the findings as presented on December 16,
I'm
which
sorry, yes.
this person is
Sorry.
going to accept that.
A brief interruption. I apologize, Chair. The findings were rewritten today to add that record. So we want to make sure that the motion references the findings as they are written as of this date today, 1/6/25.
That's fine.
I make a motion that we adopt the findings as rewritten on 1/6/25.
I second that motion.
Well,
I don't think they heard you.
Banger,
Kat, would you please call the roll on this motion?
Bangry,
Aye.
O'Connor,
Aye.
Booth,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Nino,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry again, but before moving on, the notes indicate that Commissioners O'Connor and Lindstrom were opposed to 2404. which is the motion we're voting on right now. Yep.
Right.
So if they change their vote, that's fine. But I just wanted to be clear that this is a vote on the actual findings. And if you concur with those findings, you would vote aye. If you don't concur with those findings, you would vote no. But
Understood.
okay, all righty. So both have changed. Commissioner Lindstrom.
Nope, I'm in agreement.
Okay, all right. So it stands as called. Thank you.
Stands as called, and we then have formalized the conclusion of this. Do we have to come back and confirm this in 2 weeks, or are we all right?
No, you're good. You adopted the written findings.
That's what I thought. All right, our next issue concerns AP 24-05. And I think we all received a note from our colleague, Commissioner Mino, that she would like to change her vote. And if I could, I'd like to ask Attorney Boone to remind us or review for us the legality, if you like, the procedures for changing a vote.
You bet. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. That this is when you make a decision after following the deliberation, that's a tentative decision, and it's to direct staff to prepare findings consistent with that decision. LOC 50-07-003-4GI states that the preliminary oral decision is not a final decision. At any time prior to the adoption of the final order pursuant to subsection 4G the hearing body may modify or change its decision or choose to reopen the hearing. It certainly is permissible for any commissioner, as was done in the prior adoption of findings, for any commissioner to change their decision regarding the matter.
Everybody understand that, and everyone is comfortable with that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that being the case, I would ask Commissioner Mino to restate her intention in changing her vote. And there was a vote really on two tentative findings, two tentative decisions. You might address both of those, although it's pretty obvious.
So after reviewing the record evidence and the DRC deliberations, I'm changing my vote regarding the removal of the 18-inch Western hemlock in AP 24-05. This is due to the fact that I am now aware that, the staff, consulting arborist, and the applicant confirmed that there's no alternatives exist due to the required 20-foot alley width. So the tree has to be removed. And so now I am changing my vote on the motion to deny AP 24-05 from a yay to an A.
And with respect to the vote on the initial recommendation from staff, you voted nay. Are you changing
Yes.
that?
So now I approve the tree approval. Or I mean, tree removal.
Right. So it appears to me that the first thing we should consider is the first of the actions that we took as tentative decisions. And this is an action which was recommending approval of the staff recommendations on this particular AP 24-05. And with the change of Commissioner Mino's vote to an aye, this motion will pass. And so I'd like to ask for any further discussion of that. Otherwise, would accept the motion to finalize this finding.
If I can somewhat clarify what you're asking for, Chair, With the original vote was 4-3 to deny, and Commissioner Mino notified staff. Staff has prepared an additional set of written findings, which has been distributed to the commissioners for approval of the application. So you don't need to revisit the tentative decision before. What you really need is just a motion to adopt one of the set of findings and see if that motion gets a majority vote. Of course, in considering either set of written findings, if there needs to be a revision to the findings, that should be made as well. So a motion to adopt one of the versions would be appropriate.
I will move to adopt the version most recently submitted, which is consistent in supporting the staff recommendation on 24-05. And I will move that we accept this tentative decision and adopt it as a finding.
I second that motion.
Again, there were some people who voted against it first time, and just reminding you before Kat Kluge calls the roll that you can still vote for or against this motion.
Sangre,
Sangre says aye.
O'Connor,
Aye.
Dues,
Aye.
Faith,
Aye.
Leek,
Nay.
Mino,
Aye.
Lindstrom.
Nay.
Well, I have
5
that
yes, 2 no.
as 5 affirmative and 2 rejecting it. Is that the vote? Well, then I will conclude that
Yes, that's the
we have accepted this as the final findings on 24-05. Our next issue is election of officers, and I don't know whether we were all expecting an election this evening, but if anyone objects to an election this evening, please state that. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and have an election on this.
So Chair Sangre, I apologize. This snuck up on me as well. I didn't know that we'd be doing this tonight. I got a reminder from the city manager's office that elections are now held in January. So I looked through the procedures, and I believe, Chair Sangre, you've also talked to Deputy City Attorney Boone about this, and we're in kind of an interesting situation now. According to the new rules that have recently passed, a chair and vice chair can't be elected in the year that their term is ending. So unfortunately, that includes both our chair, Sangre, and our vice chair, O'Connor, and also Commissioner Dues. And that's just for this year. If either any of you, of the 3 of you, wish to be reappointed, and you are, obviously, we hope to have you continue on the commission, and we can look to later years where you could be reelected to that, elected or reelected to those positions. But unfortunately for this year, this election cycle, we're down to just 4 commissioners who can be chair or vice chair. And that is Commissioner Bates, Commissioner Leek, Commissioner Mino, and Commissioner Lindstrom. So again, apologies for the last minute notice on this, and sorry for the restricted ballot measures in front of you, or potential electors in front of you, but I will turn it over to you, Chair Sangre, to hold both elections.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification. I had been briefed by staff about this ahead of time, and certainly my understanding is that myself, Commissioner Dues, and Commissioner O'Connor are not eligible to be candidates for either the chair or the vice chair. And so I would welcome a nomination for the chair from any of us.
Well, since I'm not eligible to be elected, but I'm still eligible to make a nomination, I would like to nominate Commissioner Leek as our chair.
I saw,
Thank you very much, but I respectfully decline. I would be vice chair, but I don't want to be chair.
well, I'm still would welcome a recommendation for chair of the commission.
I make a recommendation that Commissioner Mino become chair.
I'm sorry, I decline. Like Commissioner Leek, I would be willing to do vice chair, but yeah, I declined the chair position. Thank you.
Commissioner Bates to be chair.
I, like the others, would decline the chair position. Would be certainly willing to do the vice chair.
It's going to be an interesting race for vice chair.
I am happy to nominate Commissioner Lindstrom if he is willing to be chair. And I realize this is really putting an inappropriate, maybe, burden on a first-time person, but with the situation we're in, Commissioner Lindstrom, would you be willing to be chair?
I have a quick question. So does the sitting chair, does that mean, I was a little bit confused on the explanation there. So you are not planning on coming back the following year? So
Not that any one of the three of us who are not eligible could be renewed, but the current city requirement for this says that if we are going to be ending our term in this year, and all three of us are ending our term in July, then we are not eligible. So it is only four of you who are eligible. All three of us or any one of us may well be reappointed in July if we stand for reappointment and are selected. But that's not sufficient for us to stand as a candidate.
okay.
It's new rules that the city has put in place for the cycle of when
Right.
commissions are appointed and et cetera.
Yeah, completely understandable. So just like Abraham Lincoln, he wasn't the first choice, but ended up becoming one of the greatest presidents of the United States. I'll humbly accept this appointment.
Thank you, Larry.
Well,
Well, there would need to be a vote,
Yes, absolutely.
not just an acceptance.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have nominated Commissioner Lindstrom. Someone needs to second it.
I second.
Made and second. Could you call the roll, please?
Fingry,
Aye.
O'Connor,
Aye.
Hughes,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Mino,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
7-0.
7-0. Thank you, Larry, for agreeing to be the chair, and we look forward to your leadership. We need a vice chair, and I heard all three of these wonderful candidates, potential candidates, say they would be willing to do it. I would ask someone to make a nomination.
I nominate Helen Leek
Yeah.
to be vice chair.
I second that.
Or
Yeah.
two people trying to nominate, so I'm going to take one of you as a nomination. Commissioner Mino nominated and Commissioner Bates seconded that motion.
I've always wanted to be chair and vice.
I'm not going to touch that one. Any other nominees for vice chair? Well, then I would ask Staff Kluge to please call the roll.
Sangre,
Aye.
O'Connor,
Aye.
Dues,
Aye.
Bates,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Nina,
Aye.
Lindstrom,
Aye.
7-0.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations to both of you.
Leadership. Okay, we have new officers, and I'm sure that staff, Joanna, you'll be sure to work with Evan to give them the appropriate briefing before our next meeting, and anything that I can do to help you, Larry, please count on it. Now we have a schedule review.
Thank you. I believe I say Chair Lindstrom at this point, Evan, is that correct? Have we officially?
Well, I think it's through this meeting.
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you, Chair Sangre. All right. So again, apologies for that last minute notice. Thank you very much, future Chair Lindstrom and future Vice Chair Leek for stepping up to that. I appreciate it. Evan and I, Deputy City Attorney, Mr. Boone and I will work with you to get you familiar with the roles and procedures for acting in these positions. Really quickly, I have a reminder that there is the Boards and Commissions Summit this Thursday. Hopefully you've all received an RSVP to that invitation. I will be there and hope to see you there as well. For our new officers, we have an annual officer meeting that the mayor will hold on the 29th of this month. It's going to be at the Maintenance Center from 5:30 to 7, and I will forward you that email so you can attend. It's kind of an orientation, expectations, discussion, meet and greet, and I would encourage you to attend that as well. I don't have anything formally scheduled for the DRC, any upcoming DRC meetings. I do have one project that may end up before the DRC in the next couple of months, likely in March. It's for a quadplex that's located in the Downtown Redevelopment Design District, so another form of middle housing. But again, that hasn't been deemed complete. We don't have a hearing date yet, but I will let you know when that does get scheduled. And again, thank you for holding a very concise and productive meeting on both of those hearings. Apologize for the wonky procedures on both of them. It's like Deputy City Attorney Boone said, it doesn't happen very often. So it was a chance for you all to practice kind of little known rules and regulations and procedures and hearings. And thank you for being able to take care of that. And unless you have any other questions for me, that's all I have.
I do have one question. I did receive the information about the Board and Commission meeting on Thursday. I am planning to attend, but I didn't see any place to respond in my intention to attend.
Okay, well, you know what? I apologize for that. I didn't look too closely at the invitation, or I haven't for a number of weeks now. I will let Quinn know that you are attending, and did anyone else have any problems signing up? Do I need to let Quinn know that?
I had that question. Who's going to attend by hand?
I'm going to be gone for the next 3 weeks, so I will not be attending.
Okay. All right, wonderful. I'm glad most of you can be there. Yeah, Chair Sangre, I will let Quinn know that you're planning on attending. Thank you.
I just wanted to take a moment to thank Chair Sangre for his leadership and service in the past year. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
I second that. Thank you.
One other thing, there is a discussion underway about the tree code. And I know a couple of us being Commissioner Mino and myself, have both expressed an interest to represent DRC on any committee that any formal group that is put together by the city to work on the tree code. I just want to let the rest of you know that it is appropriate, I think, when an issue like this comes up, to volunteer your interest. And both Commissioner Mino and I would like to be involved, if appropriate, in further work on the tree code.
I would too. So would someone just keep me posted as to when developments happen?
So I can provide a little bit of context for that. Right now, the tree code, we are looking for a consultant to help with that update. No consultant has been chosen. Of course, that means that the whole timeline for this and what the process will look like, what the public engagement will look like, timelines have not been determined yet. I will keep you updated when that happens. What will absolutely happen is that the DRC, in your role as volunteers for the DRC, your perspectives on the tree code, how it's working now, and what sort of corrections or refinements could be made are absolutely really important. And so there will be, I've talked to Community Development Director Numanalu, and she has said absolutely that there will be a focus group, including all of the DRC. As far as what the task force will look like, how it will be made up, that is also yet to be decided. So absolutely, there'll be a formal outreach to the DRC, all of the current commissioners. And then for anything else, I will let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing else to come before us this evening, thank you all for taking the time for this meeting, and I will call the meeting adjourned.
Thank you all very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.